Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be reacting to Kindred, the Eternal Hunters. So now, Kindred is somebody that I did react to already with the Voicelines only. That was like probably one of my very first League of Legends reactions was Kindred's Voicelines. And then we moved on to like Fiddlesticks and things like that. But we never fully got to know Kindred, the character. We didn't know the biography, the story, or anything like that. We haven't seen skins. And I know there's going to be more voice lines that we can check out with like Legends of Runeterra, and there's also special interactions that we have not seen. So strap in, grab a snack, and we're going to fully dive into the Kindred character. All right, we're taking a look at the biography page as usual. The quote here says, "Tell me again, little lamb, which things are ours to take? All things, dear wolf." Now, this is going to be really interesting to react to Kindred because we don't have... this Kindred is truly a unique champion, right? I'm very curious to see what we're going to learn through this biography. All right, so the role is marksman. Region just says Runeterra. Yeah, I guess I don't know what you would even put for region. Related champions. This is going to be interesting. So Karthus, Mordekaiser, Yorick. So now Mordekaiser, Yorick, you know, undead stuff going on here, obviously. Karthus, I assume, is going to be the same. I don't know anything about Karthus personally. But we have, you know, reacted to Yorick. We've done a video on Yorick. And then Mordekaiser, we've only done the voice lines. So very interesting. Paragraph, though, says, "Separate but never parted, Kindred represents the twin essences of death. Lamb's bow offers a swift release from the mortal realm for those who accept their fate. Wolf hunts down those who run from their end, delivering violent finality with his crushing jaws. Though interpretations of Kindred's nature vary across Runeterra, every mortal must choose the true face of their death." And you know what I've realized? Whenever I see voice interactions, and I don't know if people around Runeterra or the champions truly actually know Kindred represents death, but you know, anytime I see those kinds of voice interactions with Kindred, it is them talking about death, right? So it does seem like a lot of champions know of Kindred or know who Kindred is. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read Kindred's biography now. Kindred is the white embrace of nothingness and the gnashing of teeth in the dark. Shepherd and the butcher, poet and the primitive, they are one in both. When caught on the edge of life, louder than any trumpeting horn, it is the hammering pulse at one's throat that calls Kindred to their hunt. Stand and greet Lamb's silvered bow, and her arrows will lay you down swiftly. If you refuse her, Wolf will join you for his merry hunt, where every chase runs to its brutal end. For as long as its people have known death, Kindred has stalked Valorant. When the final moment comes, it is said a true Demacian will turn to Lamb, taking the arrow while through the shadowed streets of Noxus, Wolf leads the hunt. Oh, this is interesting. In the snows of the Freljord, before going off to fight, some warbands kissed the wolf, vowing to honor his chase with the blood of their enemies. After each harrowing, the town of Bilgewater gathers to celebrate its survivors and honor those granted a true death by Lamb and Wolf. So each region here is having like some sort of like Kindred type, I guess, motto, not motto, quote, I guess, life lesson almost. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Denying Kindred is to deny the natural order of things. There are but a wretched few who have eluded these hunters. Oh, who are they? This perverse escape is no sanctuary, for it only holds a waking nightmare. Kindred waits for those locked in the undeath of the Shadow Isles, for they know all will eventually fall to Lamb's bow or Wolf's teeth. Oh. Okay, so those on the Shadow Isles. The earliest dated appearance of the Eternal Hunters is from a pair of ancient masks carved by unknown hands into the gravesites of people long forgotten. But to this day, Lamb and Wolf remain together, and they are always kindred. Very cool. Okay, a very short and sweet biography. Yeah, and of course, like, I don't know what you would even write for Kindred here, because Kindred just kind of represents death. But this paragraph here was kind of the most interesting about each region, kind of, you know, just there's like a line for each region. Taking the arrow while through the shadowed streets of Noxus. It said a true Demacian will turn to Lamb. Things like that. That's very interesting. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the story. Okay, the story is titled Forest for the Trees. The battle spilled over like a feast before them. Such delicious life. So many to end, so many to hunt. Wolf paced in the snow while Lamb danced lithely from sword edge to spear tip, the red-blooded butchery never staining her pale coat. There is courage and pain here, Wolf. Many will gladly meet their end. She drew up her bow and let loose an arc of swift finality. The last breath of a soldier came with a ragged consent as his shield gave way to a heavy axe. Stuck in his heart was a single white arrow, shimmering with ethereal brilliance. Courage bores me, the great black wolf grumbled as he tracked through the snow. I am hungry and eager to chase. Patience, she murmured in his shaggy ear. As soon as the words left her, Wolf's shoulders tensed and his body dropped low to the ground. I smell fear, he said, trembling with excitement. Oh, yeah. Somebody that fears death, Wolf probably gets excited. Across the muddied field of snow, a squire, too young for battle, but with blade in hand nonetheless, saw that Kindred had marked all in the valley. I want the tender thing. Does it see us, Lamb? Yes, but it must choose. Feed the wolf or embrace me. The The battle turned its steel toward the squire. He now stared at the roiling tide of bravery and desperation coming for him. This would be his last dawn. In that instant, the boy made his choice. He would not go willingly. Until his last breath, he would run. Wolf snapped in the air and rolled his face in the snow like a new pup. So now my question, though, is, does Kindred go out chasing these people? Like, so, for example, this squire, this young boy, is clearly running from the battle and doesn't want to die. But like they're still going after him. So I thought, like, I don't know how it works exactly. Maybe we'll find out more. But like, yeah, it would seem like he's wanting to still live. So technically, I feel like they wouldn't have the choice of killing the guy. I don't know. Yes, dear wolf, Lamb's voice echoed like a string of pearly bells. Begin your hunt. With that, Wolf bounded across the field after the youth, a howl thundering through the valley. His shadowed body swept over the remains of the newly dead and their useless shattered weapons. The squire turned and ran for the woods until thick black trunks passed in a blur. He pressed on, the frozen air burning his lungs. He looked once more for his hunter, but could see nothing but the darkening trees. The shadows closed tightly around him, and he suddenly realized there was no escape. It was the black body of Wolf that was everywhere at once. The chase was at its end. Wolf buried his sharp teeth in the squire's neck, tearing out ribbons of vibrant life. Wolf reveled in the boy's scream and crunching bones. Lamb, who had trailed behind, laughed to see such sport. Wolf turned and asked in a voice more growled than speech, "Is this music, Lamb?" "It is to you," she answered. See, I'm excited to get more into these Kindred voice lines and interactions because their voice lines are insane. Again, Wolf licked the last drop of the youth's life from his canine jaws. "I want to chase again, little lamb." "There are always more," she whispered, "until the day there is only Kindred. And then will you run from me?" Lamb turned back to the battle. "I would never run from you, dear wolf." Wow, what a freaking crazy quick story that was. The last interactions here with them talking to each other, and it totally makes sense. "There are always more," she whispered, "until the day there is only Kindred." And then the wolf asks, "Then you will run from me?" And Kindred says no, or the lamb says no, right? This is such a cool champion that Riot has created here. It's very unique. I don't know if it's taken inspiration from anything else in culture or pop culture. We'll find out in the Fandom Wiki when we get there. But yeah, Kindred seems super unique to me. I've never heard of any champion like this representing death. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to do some of the cinematics if there are any. We'll do the champion theme for Kindred. Check out the skins in the Fandom Wiki. And then at the very end is when we'll do the Legends of Runeterra voice lines as well as the interactions. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and check out Kindred's champion spotlight. It is about 7 years old, so I don't know if there's been updates to Kindred. I imagine there have been, but this is still just the most recent champion spotlight we have, so let's check it out. It's 8 minutes long. Why is it so long, actually? They're usually about like 5 minutes, I would say.
League of Legends champion spotlight featuring
here we go.
Kindred, the Eternal Hunters.
All right, there's Lamb and Wolf. Let's see it.
Have they forgotten us yet, little lamb?
All still know us, though they try to forget.
Ooh, I love the
Soon,
voice
We
lines.
will remind them.
It's just like their voices are so well done. All right, playstyle and skins.
Kindred is the manifestation of death on Runeterra and can only be seen in life's final moments. Lamb, the compassionate half, offers a merciful passing to those who accept death, killing victims with a swift and true arrow. Wolf, Kindred's savage and brutal side, terrorizes those who run from death, chasing and devouring their souls.
Very nice.
In-game, Kindred plays the role of a mobile marksman who thrives in the jungle.
Attack speed, attack damage, and armor penetration.
They know we'll come.
Yet they are never prepared.
I love the explanation by the Riot dev there, telling us more about Kindred as well. Okay, here we go.
Kindred's passive is Mark of the Kindred. By clicking on a champion icon in the special bar displayed above Kindred's inventory, Lamb marks a target for death. It does take a few seconds to arm.
That's kind of a cool ability, I guess. That's interesting.
The mark does nothing on its own, but if Kindred kills or helps kill the marked target, they gain a permanent and stackable buff on their basic attacks.
That's really nice. Okay. Oh, you can see the difference there in the damage.
Targets every couple minutes, though once a marked target bites the dust, Kindred won't be able to reapply the mark to them for a few minutes.
Okay.
It's not just Lamb who can apply a Mark of the Kindred. Wolf randomly marks certain enemy jungle camps. As soon as Wolf's mark activates, it'll alert all players in the game, giving the enemy team plenty of opportunities to defend their chickens, rocks, or whatever else the big bad wolf is hungering for.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wolf
so it
sets his
shows
sights
the
on a
enemy
new
too.
Target every few minutes. To prevent either team from gaining information they don't deserve, Wolf's marks don't disappear until several seconds after the camp's been cleared.
Interesting. Okay.
While of course you want to farm marked champions to get a bunch of passive stacks,
Right.
you can also play mind games with your opponents by marking lanes you're not planning on ganking to divert attention away from your true target.
Right. You can strategize with it. Yep.
Kindred's
Q.
Q is Dance of Arrows, a short-range vault that ends with Lamb firing an arrow at up to 3 nearby enemies.
Can you do it
Despite being a
backwards?
short-range dash, Lamb can jump over walls with Dance of Arrows,
Oh,
making
okay.
counter jungling much safer.
Okay, you can use it to go over walls. Very nice.
Kindred's W is Wolf's Frenzy. Passively, Wolf's Frenzy builds up stacks as Kindred moves about the map.
Okay.
Once Kindred hits max stacks, Lamb's next basic attack heals them.
Oh,
Whenever
okay.
Kindred activates Wolf's Frenzy, Wolf splits away from Lamb and claims a medium-sized area for a few seconds.
Oh.
Wolf fights independently inside this area, but
Oh.
will focus his attacks on whomever Lamb is shooting.
Oh, that's kind of
But
cool.
if Lamb leaves Wolf's Frenzy, Wolf will pack up shop and rejoin his woolly pal.
Right. So obviously the enemy's gonna move
Also,
out of that
the
circle,
cooldown on
but
Dance of Arrows is massively reduced while in Wolf's Frenzy,
Okay, your
regardless
cooldown's
of which
reduced.
ability you hit first. You'll always want to fight inside Wolf's Frenzy, so
Right,
use the
right.
reduced cooldown on Dance of Arrows to stay in the zone and get your damage
you
on.
pretty much want to use that off the bat in a fight almost. Mounting
Next
Dread.
up is Kindred's E, Mounting Dread, a heavy targeted slow that applies an additional debuff to its
slow.
target.
Okay.
If Lamb's able to attack them 3 times in quick succession, Wolf lunges out to deal % max health damage.
Okay, cool.
Mounting Dread is great for starting your gank.
Okay, you
Also
start it
really
that way.
useful when you're facing tanky jungle monsters. Finally, Kindred's
Alright.
ultimate is Lamb's Respite, a large blessed zone
ult?
that prevents all living things inside of it, ally, neutral, and enemy, from dying.
Ally, neutral, and enemy.
Kindred casts
Interesting.
Lamb's Respite on a target ally, blessing the ground beneath them. And while everything inside it can still lose health, once they get down to about 10%, they become immune to all further damage.
I wonder, has that ever
Lamb's
like
Respite-
backfired really badly for like the team?
Only
I don't know.
safeguards the lives who stay inside it. So as soon as you're pulled, kicked, busted, or headbutted out, well, you're going to be eligible for death right
Okay.
away.
Yeah. Huh.
Lamb's Respite lasts about 4 seconds. And
Oh, it's
as
not
it
very
ends,
long.
It heals up everything inside of it by a flat amount.
Okay. It's not very long. 4
Use
seconds goes
Lamb's
by
Respite
fast.
to save vulnerable allies or even yourself from death. With smart
Yeah.
timing, you can keep your low health pals ticking for longer while they whittle down the enemy team.
I could see that being really good in stressful situations for sure. All right, what else do we have? Is it going to be
Kindred is
about
a
getting
pretty
items and stuff?
complicated champion, combining the hard parts of marksman, junglers, and even bard. With that in mind, here are some neat little tricks to help you out in your first few games.
Okay, let's see some of the tricks you can do.
Kindred's pretty squishy compared to most other junglers, and especially early on can lose so much health to jungle camps that they'll be forced back early. But
Okay.
not if you're smart. Unlike pretty much every other jungler out there, Kindred can stay on the move and use abilities, especially Wolf's Frenzy and Dance of Arrows, to kite jungle creatures while they whittle them down. Just don't go so far out that you reset the camp back to full health.
Oh, okay.
When
Didn't know
fighting
that.
jungle monsters, pay attention to their patience level right above their health bar. If it empties and turns red, they'll retreat and heal back up. It's like a backwards Narbar for not fighting.
You can't go too far, right? Top your
An
health
awesome
off.
side effect of kiting jungle camps is that you'll also build up stacks of your W passive.
Uh-huh.
Whenever it's maxed out, attack something nearby while you move to your next camp to heal up and resume stacking. Don't worry about fighting whatever you attacked. You don't have to. Just carry on your journey with a little more health than you had before.
Okay. What else?
Marking enemy champions
Remember
is
to
totally
mark
unique
somebody.
to Kindred, so
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to forget to use it. Keep a constant eye out for enemies you can mark, and pay attention to the enemy jungle for opportunities to claim even more stats.
Cool. All right, what else are they going to show us?
Here's your basic ganking pattern. Get in behind your opponent, tag them with Mounting Dread, activate Wolf's Frenzy, and enjoy your hilariously low Dance of Arrows cooldown. Syndra tries to set up a stun, being ranged has its benefits, and Lamb refuses to get kited.
Kindred looks really fun to play personally. I mean,
Getting
you're
marked with the
squishy
Kindred
though,
stacks is
obviously.
important, but don't make the mistake of thinking that your only way to scale into late game. Risky invades without vision or risky dives will often just put you further behind, so farm safely until you spy a mark you know you can secure.
Dang, Kindred's got whooped in like 2 seconds.
Here's Kindred going off to collect a mark the right way, with friends. Because the enemy team will always know which monster Wolf is marked, they're much more likely to contest the camp. So bring your pals and expect a fight. Lee Sin apparently didn't watch the champion spotlight and makes the exact mistake we just cautioned against. Not only does Kindred pick up the Gromp and the mark, but also a few hundred gold.
Cool.
Lamb's Respite saves everyone from death, so whoever wins the fight often comes down to who plays best around the end of the ultimate. Rengar's about to do Rengar things, so Kindred hits the big red button as he attacks. Aurelia times the end of it and bursts Rengar to turn the fight around.
Wow.
From here, the heal at the end allows them to continue fighting and pick up 2 more kills.
Yeah, Kindred looks really cool to play, to be honest.
Let's try again on a larger scale. Braum flashes and misses his ultimate, leaving Kindred and Vayne totally exposed to the enemy flank. Lamb's Respite comes out just as Vayne's about to die, allowing time to regroup and whittle down the enemy front line. Right as the marksmen bolt out of range and kill off their assailants.
Lamb's Respite seems really good.
None of Kindred's allies die in this fight.
Just like being invulnerable for like 4 seconds essentially seems really good.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kindred Champion Spotlight.
I know those 4 seconds, like I said, like it seems like it goes really, really fast. But the fact that like you can become invulnerable, I mean, obviously you have to stay within the circle. I mean, in a big team fight, that could be like crucial, right? Those 4 seconds that the Lamb's Respite is up. Now, obviously the enemy can't die in it either, but still, like it seems like a very, very, very good ultimate. Okay, I mean, just to talk about Kindred really quick, this seems like the type of character that I would personally play if I were to ever play League of Legends. I don't know about the whole jungling thing. I don't ever, again, I haven't played League of Legends. I'd have to learn all the jungling and all that. But in terms of like how the character plays, Kindred seems really fun. It's a ranged character. I tend to play those kinds of characters in games. And I don't know, it just seems like it's a pretty easy abilities going on here. It doesn't seem like there's anything too crazy. Like, for example, Irelia seemed like a really fun character, but it seemed much harder than this. The Kindred seems kind of easy to play, but you know, I could be totally wrong on that. You guys let me know your thoughts and let me know if any of these things have changed. Obviously, you know what I mean, and this video is 7 years old, so some of these things have probably been tweaked, or some of these abilities may even be totally different now. I have no idea. So let me know in the comments. All right, now we have the Kindred reveal for Legends of Runeterra. It's only about a minute long.
Without the other.
Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, so 5 mana for a 4/4 quick attack. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. And then level up when I've seen you slay 2 of my marked enemies. Okay, so yeah, very fitting for Kindred's character with the whole marking thing. And then just, you know, like the leveling up being slaying a unit and leveling up from that. Very cool.
I'm ready, little lamb.
I want to get into the voice lines on Legends of Runeterra as well as, you know, League of Legends later. But let's see what we got going on here. Lamb's Respite. Okay, there's the ultimate.
Threads of fate unraveled and rewoven.
That was a cool animation. Death is another beginning. Spirit Journey. Kill a unit, then revive it. Interesting. What is that for?
Interplay of shadow like dappled sunlight.
Huh. Kill an ally. Oh, the level up. Ooh. Oh, that was cool.
Everyone, dear wolf.
Oh man, I really want to get into the voice lines. I love the interaction between Wolf and Lamb. Okay.
Hunted down.
With grace and precision.
Here the chase ends.
More lie ahead.
Looks like it's a lot of other cards that are like Kindred. Looks like spirit beings, kind of. I can't really tell. That was a very short one. We didn't really get into the other cards with Kindred, but that was still very cool. And then, yeah, we didn't look at the leveled up version. So here it's a 5/5 quick attack still. The first time you slay a unit each round, grant me +2/+2, and I mark the weakest enemy still. Okay. And round end, kill my marked enemy. So yeah, so anytime you mark somebody at the end of the round, it kills that marked enemy. That's pretty big, I feel like, right? You guys let me know how Kindred is in Legends of Runeterra, if that card's pretty good or not. And yeah, let's keep going on. All right, of course, everybody, we have to check out Kindred's login screen. This is only about 2.5 minutes, but again, Riot Music usually knocks it out of the park, so I expect this to be another 10 out of 10. And I think it's about 7 years old, but yeah, I mean, I think it's still gonna be pretty darn good. Let's listen. Oh, I just now realized, hold on, in the animation here, or the video, they're standing on top of a dead person. Did not know that. Okay, let's listen to it. Ooh, that piano. I'm loving the piano. It's like mostly only coming in the right ear, too. What do you tell the people, the musicians, like, hey guys, make a theme for a character that represents death. And they represent a lamb and a wolf, and they're the epitome of death in the world of Runeterra. You know? Oh, it's like the strings and the piano are almost like kind of like battling each other for being the loudest there. Okay, now it's slowing down. Is it gonna build up? Ooh, now it's just the strings. Sounds pretty sad. Sounds much sadder than the piano. I guess the piano was pretty sad too, but this sounds definitely real sad. Piano coming back. Staying on the one note. Ooh. Okay, now the strings and the piano are combining together. Ooh, what's that? The strings are going fast. Holy crap. Dude, I love the melody for this song, to be honest. This feels like, I don't know, this feels like something from the old ages that you would hear. It'd be like a classic. It's too short, to be honest. This needs to be longer. Oh, it ends perfectly, though. Yeah, honestly, my only complaint about that is I want it to be longer. Like a 2.5-minute song, not long enough for me. But no, like you guys, what I said earlier in this was like, it almost seemed like, and maybe I'm just making this up in my head, but like the strings represents either lamb or wolf and the piano represented lamb or wolf. And they were like almost fighting to be the loudest. And, or maybe it's like they were communicating with each other, kind of like how lamb and wolf communicate with each other. That's kind of how the strings and the piano felt to me. And that's all we really heard. The beginning was like the piano, but then the strings started chiming in a little bit, and then the piano would almost kind of like respond, and then they were kind of like going almost at the same time. Yeah, that's my take on it. I thought it was really well done. Riot, another 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I just would want it to be a little bit longer, but 2.5 minutes of perfect music is still great. All right, let's take a look at Kindred skins here. Now, of course, I like to do a top 3 every time I take a look. It looks like we only have 7 skins for Kindred. I guess it kind of makes sense that they don't want to go all out on changing the look of Kindred. I don't know. I would think there'd be a lot more, but this is still very cool to see the 7 that we have. So let's go ahead and dive into them. All right, the first one I think we got a glimpse of, yeah, Shadowfire. It's essentially just like a more fiery version, I guess, of the Kindred Wolf and Lamb here. You just got the fire going on the flowing on the back here, and then the wolf is more red now instead. I think it's a pretty good skin overall. Super Galaxy. Okay, why does this remind me a little bit of like, it's got like the colors from the arcade skins, but it's more, it almost looks like Mega Man-ish, right? Do you see what I'm saying here? Like this could be like a Mega Man character almost. It's pretty cool. I do enjoy that one. Moving along, we have Spirit Blossom. Ooh, do we see this in game? Ooh, okay, here we go. Yeah, Spirit Blossom in game. That looks really cool. Look at the bow. The bow is also very good. Spirit Blossom is top 3 in my books for now. Let's move it along. We have the porcelain one. This is pretty recent. I was going to say this is from 2022. So last year, I remember the porcelain cinematic wasn't that long ago. Here we go. We got a bunch of different color variations for it. Okay. Yeah. The porcelain skin's pretty awesome as well. I enjoy this one. The bow is pretty cool. I think the bow for Spirit Blossom's a little bit better personally, but I think this skin's pretty awesome as well. Let's put it in the top 3. Okay. Now what's going on here? Wolf and Lamb. And I see we got Kled on the left here, I'm assuming. Or wait a minute. What's going on here? Who said dogs and cats can't be best friends? Cat ladies and golden retriever boyfriends, pitting the two against each other for centuries. Wait a minute. Okay, so there's a cat on top of Kindred's head here? Oh, but then you can also have a dog. Okay. So you can have different cats and dogs on top of Kindred's head. I mean, listen, I'm a cat person. I do have 2 cats myself. I think I would have to probably get this one and then use one of the cat ones for sure as a cat person. Like I'd have to represent. But yeah, this is like very colorful, pretty vibrant for Kindred's character being the epitome of death in Legends of Runeterra or in Runeterra alone. But like, yeah, I mean, it's a good skin. I don't know if it's top 3 though. I don't think it's my favorite. It kind of like steers away from the Kindred look in my opinion. And the bow is like, it's almost like a playful toy version of Kindred. Okay, what's going on in this one? DRX. This is from this year, so January 2023. It says honoring Siosik's winning performance as Kindred during the 2022 World Championship. Oh, wow. Okay, this DRX skin looks very nice. And then it says Elite version right here. Oh, yeah. I'm loving like the horns on the top here. The bow is insane. The color scheme is really nice. DRX has to be in the top 3. That's a very, very, very good skin. How do you get some of these skins where, you know, I always notice there's like these skins that like honor persons or honor players' performances during the World Championships and things like that. Are they just like limited time things that you can purchase within the shop, or do you have to do something specific to get them, or are they like super rare? You guys let me know in the comments about that. But the DRX one actually might be my freaking favorite, with Spirit Blossom probably being a second. And then I think probably this, the Shadowfire actually being my 3rd favorite. Porcelain's pretty good, but no, I think we're going to go, okay, yeah. We'll do a DRX is definitely my favorite. It's interesting we only have 7 skins for Kindred. You would think we'd have a little bit more because it seems like Kindred's like 7 years old now. Let's see, the first skin was in 2015. Okay, so we had 2 skins in 2015, then there's the one in 2016, and then there weren't any skins between 2016 and 2020. That's kind of interesting. Did they just like forget about Kindred for 4 years? Yeah, and then you didn't get any more skins for like another year and a half, and then they've been pumping out some skins here recently. This one's actually from very recent. I didn't realize this one's from, it says June 4th, 2023. This was just a month ago, the cat one. It's not my favorite though. Like I do like it, but the cat and dog one isn't my favorite aesthetically. It's gonna be, so my top 3 again, just to recap, you guys let me know in the comments your favorite skin, but it's gonna be DRX, the Spirit Blossom one, and then the older Shadowfire one are my favorite. The Shadowfire one I'm picking mostly because it's sticking to like the traditional Kindred look, while these other 2 kind of like change it up. DRX definitely changes it up quite a bit. I guess Spirit Blossom kind of still looks like Kindred in a sense, but it's very much not, you know, Kindred. And I think Shadowfire keeps to like the Kindred look. Okay, I'm very curious what we're even going to get from the Fandom Wiki for Kindred, seeing as like it's not a typical champion, you know what I mean? There's not going to be like a background or like an upbringing, you know what I mean, in terms of this kind of character. So let's see what we have here. For the early life, it's a small paragraph. It says, as a spirit who is closer to a force of nature than a living being, it is difficult to tell how Kindred came to be who they are today. However, one of the many legends surrounding the origins of the Kindred tell of a pale man with dark hair, Runeterra's own Grim Reaper, who is very lonely and so split himself right down the middle so he would always have a friend. Assuming there is some fact to this tale, one can extrapolate that his emotions materialized in his dark hair became wolf, while his rationale materialized and his pale self became lamb. See, like, that's all we're really getting for like an early life background for Kindred. It's not a typical champion. I'm curious to see what other things we have down here. Are we even going to have relationships? Okay, it looks like there's a little bit for relationship here, but there's not going to be a whole lot of things to read on the fandom for Kindred, but let's see what we have. So appearance. Kindred is an entity with two distinct aspects and appearances. Okay, so we have Lamb. Lamb looks like a sheep lamb with pale fur and lamb's legs and feet. She doesn't wear clothes. Her body is covered in white fur. The most distinctive ornament on her attire is the wolf mask, which has a dark color. She carries with her a mystical bow. And then Wolf has the appearance of a spectral wolf with dark fur and only the head being visible. He wears no clothes. The rest of his body is covered in a long spectral dark veil. The most distinctive ornament on his attire is the lamb mask, which is white in color. Oh, I didn't realize they had each other's masks essentially on them. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah, going back now and looking at it, I don't know why I didn't think about that. But yeah, so the lamb is wearing the wolf mask and the wolf is wearing the lamb mask. Why is that? Okay, for personality, that's kind of interesting that death has a personality. In the beginning, Kindred was a single being, isolated from the others due to their nature as a god of death. Lonely and craving companionship, they took an axe and cut themselves in half, dividing them into beings, Lamb and Wolf, both deeply attached to each other. That's not really even a personality. That's just like a definition of what Kindred is, but sure. Abilities, Spirit God. Kindred is an ancient divine being embodying a particular aspect of the world, in this case, death. Kindred nurtures themselves from both their role as death gods and from the belief and memory of worshippers. Immortality, so long as there is life on Runeterra and there will still be people that believe in them, Kindred will continue existing. Yeah, that makes sense. Spiritual connection. Both parts of the Kindred are connected to each other through a powerful spiritual bond. Avatar of death. Kindred is a god of death responsible for the passing of living beings to the afterlife. More of a function than a power, Kindred will come to those that are close to death and take them to the beyond. Whether Kindred chooses the death or they're simply drawn to those close to death seems to vary. If the dying chooses a peaceful death, then Lamb will take them swiftly with their arrows. If they choose to fight death, then Wolf will come for them. The nature of the choice is not always clear and obvious. Yeah, that's what I've questioned. And then it says, as many have chosen without knowing due to living a life that put them in the path of one of the Kindred. Okay. Yeah, I was always like, how are you knowing, like, if you're choosing to fight or if you're just like going peacefully, you know what I mean? I don't know. All right, and then relations. It says Fiddlesticks, an equally ancient entity, is one of the only champions to refer to Kindred prior to their split, calling out to Kindred as the Gray Man. Oh. This would explain why the Kindred are two halves of a whole and why one has what the other lacks. Lamb's cold reason and Wolf's hot instinct. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm recalling now the Fiddlesticks voice lines and how, yeah, Fiddlesticks calls out Gray Man, and that's a reference to Kindred. Very cool. Lamb and Wolf, or any other two forms of Kindred, consider each other the only friend. In spirit bonds, it was implied certain parts of the Gray Man still exist somewhere in the spirit realm. As a god of deaths, Kindred is related to all other representations of death in Runeterra. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Legends say Mask Mother created Kindred. So Mask Mother, looks like there's a little art piece there, created Kindred. While it's unknown how true the story is, both Lamb and Wolf call her their mother. Yeah, so the masks, what are the masks actually representing here? You know what I mean? I'm a little curious about those now that I just realized they're wearing each other's masks almost. And then there's this Mask Mother. Okay, it is revealed once the Kindred are forgotten or should have all things have died out, Lamb and Wolf will kill each other while the Ether Fiend will take away what's left. The Ether Fiend looks like a giant vulture, like an undead vulture. Huh. So yeah, we already know Kindred is like once all alive beings are gone or dead or whatever, then Kindred will be forgotten and die. And it says they will kill each other and the Ether Fiend will take away what's left. Okay. All right, now checking out the trivia here, it looks like wow, this is where all the information is. It's in the trivia section. Okay, let's take a look here. Kindred means one's family and relations from Old English. The duo's title, Eternal Hunters, possibly references the European folk myth Wild Hunt, involving supernatural beings like elves or ghosts. Kindred are Runeterra's most common spirit god that embody death, although they are not the only ones. They usually don't kill actively, but rather appear to those who die naturally, except for a few circumstances like in All Kindred Eve. So that must be another story that we didn't read. They can also prevent death if they want to. They are empowered by the relevance sentient beings give them, as well as the extent of their sphere of influence. But like, you know what I mean? In a world where people are alive, there's always going to be death. Unless immortality becomes a thing, but it's not. I mean, I guess there are some beings that are immortal, but yeah, as long as there are beings that can die, yeah, Kindred's going to be there. Kindred is a character that straddles the border between life and death. Lamb interacts with the world more physically than Wolf does to draw that parallel. Yin and Yang are presented in both their appearance and personality-wise. Lamb feels little but knows everything, whereas Wolf feels everything but knows relatively little. This is meant to reinforce them being halves of a whole. They're two halves of one whole that are always in conflict with one another but couldn't exist without each other. Lamb ends those who have accepted their fate. She likes creamy. Quick deaths are the realm of the Lamb. What? Wolf chases those in denial of their end, prefers crunchy. Slow, lingering deaths are in the realm of Wolf. What? Okay, so Lamb likes creamy peanut butter. Wolf likes crunchy peanut butter. Got it. Different cultures of Runeterra have different understandings and relationships to death. Okay, yeah, this is what I was interested in a little bit when we read the biography. Kindred is interesting as the myth of Kindred takes many forms across many of Runeterra's cultures. Kindred are a mythical being known only in legends and folktales. They have many names. The Lamb and Wolf are known in the West as Ina and Ani, in the east as Faria and Wolio, and many others, but they are always the Kindred. Although their masks are a universal symbol of theirs, their existence per se is only known to the dead or those few who almost were. Right, I guess you wouldn't technically know of Kindred unless you've died or you've come close to death, right? In-game Kindred, Lamb and Wolf, are depicted as they appear in Southern Freljordian myth. Oh. Lamb and Wolf are by far the most prevalent representation drew from wider Valoran, as well as the oldest depiction of the Kindred. Some northern versions make Lamb more baby Elnick-like. The southern Freljord does have goats, and visually it's more of a kid than a lamb. It says, as said in All Kindred's Eye, the Kindred are seen by Shuremans as elegantly tusked gazelles partnered with speckled hyenas, by Ionians as a snake and a sparrow. That's interesting. Some Ionians also imagine them as the Taker. Oh, well, there's the Spirit Blossom, okay? Represented as a little girl and her beastly companion. Other interpretations are a jewelfish and a minnow, a bloody antlered stag, and a sleek rabbit and a nose and a stinging bee. I never thought of that like the wolf and lamb aspect is just one interpretation of Kindred, and that's the Freljordian version. And then, yeah, I didn't think of like the Spirit Blossom version. I just thought of it as like a skin for Kindred, but it's actually probably the Ionian version, although it says there is a snake and sparrow version of Kindred. It'd be really interesting if Riot does more skins for Kindred, representing them in the other ways that the other regions view death, but it's kind of hard to do some of these, like the rose and a stinging bee. Like the stag and the rabbit might also be pretty, you know what I mean? It'd be kind of hard to make those things. So I understand why the skins, and that's probably also why we don't have too many skins for Kindred, because they would just be variations of the Freljordian version of the wolf and lamb. Different cultures have different preferences of the Kindred. In Demacia, lamb's arrows and swift deaths are praised. In the Freljord, warriors fight for their lives and accept a violent death in battles with wolf, while the children and weaklings will be claimed by lamb. Similarly, Noxians are more into wolf than lamb due to the nature of the empire. That makes sense. In Bilgewater, lamb is seen as weak and a coward. Oh, wow. In Bilgewater, a festival known as Kindred Eve is held in celebration of the Kindred. Oh, so celebrating death, so Day of the Dead almost. There, people from the Isles gather in an island called Witch Tree Rock, where they watch a play about their tale of the Kindred. Party and watch the most coward person found in Bilgewater at the time fight a strong person. The coward, also known as the Lambful, fights the Wolfkin warrior, and the outcome of the fight determines the behavior of the folk of Bilgewater for the next year. They want the wolf to win, otherwise they would have to act as good people, not lying, cheating, or killing, hence why the fight favors the side of the wolf. Wow, that's a very, I love that we just kind of got an aspect of learning the region of Bilgewater and kind of like one of the things that's in that region. So we've learned a decent amount about each of the regions of Runeterra, but we kind of haven't learned some of the culture aspects on some of them. We have a little bit. We've scraped the surface level of them, but this kind of dug in deep for Bilgewater and taught me a little bit about what they hold a celebration every year called Kindred Eve. So that's very interesting. The Noxian Tallymen illustrate a case of pseudo worship. What are the Tallymen? I don't know what that means. It says Karthus when I hover over it. I don't know what that means. If the culture does not have the concept of kindred, the souls of people from it possibly would not be claimed by them, with the prime example being Mordekaisers. Due to different planes of existence, like other spirits, they don't meet up with celestials, but both sides are aware of each other in some forms. Okay. Kindred are primordial forces that may predate humanity. Kindred have always been in Runeterra as long as people have known, and some of the earliest myths in Runeterra were about Kindred. Pre-split Kindred is a myth that has become widespread across Runeterra, though the myth will be present among its people. Kindred have always been Kindred. The story of the Pale Man is not intended to be literal, but a coded origin story, one most likely made up by people, and therefore it grasps certain truths but fails in the details. The truth may be known only to Kindred. Okay, and then we have a version of the story from Bilgewater appears in All Kindred Eve, the story of a pale rider who rides a great black beast who people avoided since looking at him meant death. One night he came upon a forked path with an edlock tree in the middle. He then knelt before the ancient tree and cut himself right down the middle, using an axe so he could go through both paths. One road led to a deep dark wood and the other toward a city of light. The two paths met again, and the Pale Rider's halves regarded each other. They had grown different despite being the same. They drowned his axe in a river and decreed to forever walk side by side so they would never be alone. Okay, I'm glad we got a quick summary of the All Kindred Eve story of the Pale Rider splitting in two. Okay, moving on. Kindred are a neutral force of nature. Like a tornado isn't inherently good or evil. I guess that's a good way of looking at it. Kindred are either happy or sad when souls die. Death is a natural process, and they play a role in the passing of souls from one stage of life to the next. Whether lamb or wolf claims a soul depends on the internal conflict within the dying person and whether they accept death willingly or struggle to cling to life. See, I feel like most would struggle to cling to life, though, so then I would see a lot of people seeing wolf, you know? It has less to do with the means of their death, okay? Morality and actions in life do not matter, only the way the one chooses to die. Yeah, so seeing wolf or lamb has nothing to do with the way you lived your life. People don't know that they are running from wolf or accepting lamb's arrow until the bitter end. If someone is being attacked by, let's say, their ultimate nemesis and choosing to run rather than fight back, wolf will be chasing that person's soul to give them a brutal end. If that person fought for their life, choosing to take on the challenge, lamb would be there in the final moments to give a swift end. So like accepting or running from your death, right? Lamb and wolf end a soul's life based on the choices one makes in his or her life. Now see, this is contradicting what it just said here. Running away from wolf, not always physically fleeing, but a denial to the inevitable, a fear of whatever comes next. In some cases, this is physically running from a battlefield. In others, it's living with a choice one has made and slowly passing away. Okay, everyone who believes in them that dies has a direct interaction with kindred. Some get to meet them earlier, others only at the moment of death. People who have near-death encounters can see kindred. As with all near-death experiences, people tend to re-examine their lives afterwards. This was Maga's case in A Good Death. Okay, yeah, very cool. A Good Death is set in Demacia pre-Jarvan III. Okay, so that's another story called A Good Death that we did not read, but it looks like it's about Maga who has a near-death experience and probably sees Kindred, okay? Kindred as an entity does not follow normal rules that apply to us beings of space and time, therefore they can be in different places at once. Their large presence grants Kindred many insights. The Shadow Isles are not welcome to them, and in their eyes, its undead are a mockery of the cycle of life they uphold. Yeah, the Shadow Isles and like immortal beings is definitely like an interesting thing to have while also having Kindred, right? Shadow Isles beings are abominations in the eyes of Kindred. And then it says resurrection or even artificial life extension is cheating. Lamb may feel sorry for Scion's current state. Wolf will be coming for all of them at the end of their newly borrowed time. Okay. Robotic life forms may or may not be exempt from being paid a visit. Lamb would probably admire/appreciate the wonders of a man-made robotic conscious beings. I didn't think about robotic beings. Like if a robotic being dies, Wolf would probably be slightly confused in a I want to chase this, but I can't sort of way. There's a lot of, you know why we're getting a lot of interesting takes down here in the trivia section is because it's interesting to think of how Kindred equaling death, how they would go after some of these certain beings. So we got the robotic beings, we got the people that have like extended their lives, the people who are immortal, the Shadow Isle folks. Like it's very interesting to know that like this thing that represents death in Runeterra is also alive while there's all these other kind of interesting beings that don't necessarily die, like the Shadow Isles people or the undead or whatever. And then these people that just keep extending their life and things like that. So it's interesting to know about that kind of stuff and the interactions with Kindred. All right, guys, I know that was quite a bit of trivia there we had at the bottom for Kindred, but it's interesting. We had to kind of look into that a little bit deeper because, you know, Kindred is such an interesting champion. Obviously, there isn't going to be any other champion like Kindred as they represent death. And I wouldn't say we learned more about Kindred specifically by reading this fandom. I would say we kind of just learned more about how Kindred is represented within League of Legends, in the world of League of Legends, and how they're seen by like certain regions. We kind of learned a little bit more, and just kind of like the interactions with death and like life in this world of Runeterra, right? And yeah, Kindred is gonna be a staple for sure in League of Legends forever, right? I'm a little curious if Kindred will like somehow be represented in the MMO whenever that comes out, if they'll do something unique or something interesting with Kindred in that game. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. Let's finally get to the voice lines for Kindred. We're going to do Legends of Runeterra ones first, and then we're going to do the special interactions. All right, we have about 6 minutes, I think. Yeah, about 6 minutes of Legends of Runeterra voice lines and interactions for Kindred. This is uploaded by Skin Spotlight, so it's going to be a good video. So let's go ahead and check it out. We got Kindred and Azir first.
Men die, but Sharima lives forever. Nothing lives forever.
Not true. Not true in the world of Runeterra, I feel like.
I know what lurks in the shadows.
She may have caught a glimpse,
but more soon.
I love that we're getting lamb and wolf each time.
Nor the depths could claim me.
You fled us once.
It won't happen again.
Oh.
The living will fall.
Wait, I have to pause on that. So Gangplank almost died at some point?
They always do.
By arrow or by teeth.
We shall pierce their
Now see, these are Shadow Isle people.
Betrayers make for worthy prey.
Okay.
The Isles will bloom again.
I would think we'd have like special interactions with
Strong
Shadow Isle
roots
people.
to take hold in blighted soil.
Okay.
The cycle has continued
Ansys?
for eons.
We hunt, we kill.
And then we start again.
Right.
I've seen the masks of the Kindred before.
Oh, that's
All
cool.
things see us on their periphery.
On their periphery. That's really cool that Nasus actually like said Kindred's
Betrayal
name.
buried Shurima. Hope revived it.
A vast land.
Oh, too much sand.
Too much sand. Wolf
The
doesn't like
cycle
sand. We got it.
begins anew.
He thinks he understands.
Fool.
He thinks he understands.
Embrace the darkness.
Ooh.
None can avoid it.
None can avoid it. Yeah, I'm wondering how they interact with like demons. You know, demons don't like, you know, like an entity like obviously Fiddlesticks knows about Kindred, but like the other demons like Evelyn and Tom Kench, like that kind of interaction. Okay, Thresh.
We always find them.
Sentinels of light
Hey,
don't
Senna?
fear the dark.
This one is mine.
She will fight you tooth and nail.
Yes, she would.
Ages pass.
Oh,
yet
Lysandra.
I remain.
Yeah.
I know her.
She has eluded us a while.
Oh my god, dude, I'm loving the interactions that we're getting because we're getting so many different interactions with other characters that I'm like, yeah, I'm wondering how Kindred, interacts with this type of character, like the Shadow Isles people, Senna, Lysandra. This is super cool.
Push back the darkness.
One can only stay it so long.
Then they're ours.
Okay.
As I live,
Renekton.
all will die.
One does not avert the other.
I like him.
I like him, dude. Okay, that's so cool.
Noxus rise.
Oh,
He owes
Swain.
us the remainder.
I want it all.
He owes us the remainder, meaning just like because he lost the arm. The arm is dead, technically, I guess. And then the rest of him, yeah, that's what they're referencing.
Each spirit woven in
Soul Spinner.
Each strand woven with great care.
Wow, we're getting so many interactions for Kindred. This is great. Oh, the Mask Mother.
Remember our beginning.
I as well, dear wolf.
Our beginning. The Mask Mother. Who is the Mask Mother?
Remember me, little one. Please.
Fading icon.
He'll be mine.
He is for the other.
He is for the other.
Lamb, did you feel that?
Oh, Other
Yes,
Fiend.
something cold.
Huh.
They need not know yet.
Interesting. That was the mention of the Other Fiend in the fandom that we read about, which is the Other Fiend is the one that's to kill Kindred or something at the end of all things. Commander Ledros.
Abominations.
Well, that's what the Shadow Isles are to
Tell me
them.
a story.
Right.
As you wish, dear wolf.
Yours is known across the lands. Do you remember my name?
Ooh.
Mother,
Oh, they said it at the same time.
how long must we wait?
For as long as it takes, dear wolf.
Enemy
I
idol.
am tired of waiting.
It is temporary. Promise lies in store.
Dude, I love them talking to each other.
Tell
It's so
me a
cool.
story, Lamb.
Once a little spirit traveled a long road through the dark.
They were alone.
The path they traveled was one all must walk alone.
Where were they going?
The same place that all paths lead, to an end.
To us. Yeah.
We were there.
Yeah, at the
Yes,
end. Yep.
We were.
Oh, this is so
Tell
cool.
me a story, Lamb.
Once there was a sacrifice exchanged for an oath.
Okay.
What was given
A hand to rule with.
and what was
And
promised?
to rule with.
Nothing that would last.
Okay, wait a minute. What is this? A sacrifice exchanged for an oath, a hand to rule with, nothing that would last. Guys, let me know in the comments what this story might be referencing that I don't know about.
Will we ever die?
I initially thought Swain in that, but I don't think so.
Little lamb.
Perhaps, when at last our masks are forgotten,
What happens then?
it may be that another takes us beyond.
The other
I
fiend,
will
right?
fight them.
Of course you will.
Of
dear
course you
wolf.
will. Yeah. Okay.
Tell me a story, lamb.
Once there was a star that crashed down to Earth.
Did it crush anyone?
It tried to,
anyone?
dear wolf, but
Tried
it met
to.
its match.
What happened to it?
The star was returned, and from it, a man was reborn.
Okay. What is this story also referencing? For some reason, I want to say Pantheon or something, but I don't think so. Yeah, guys, let me know about that
Are
story.
you there, dear wolf?
I am, little lamb.
Are you sad?
Are you sad?
What does it feel like?
A long hunt with no kill.
So does Lamb not know what it means to feel sad, but Wolf does?
What is waiting?
What is
Death
waiting?
on a smaller scale.
Huh.
What is patience?
A motionless sea under a pale moon.
Dude, this stuff is super
Is it
interesting.
time?
Not yet. We must be patient.
Wolf is not patient.
I know.
Always hungry, Wolf.
I'm bored.
I'm bored.
Not much longer.
Hunt it down.
With grace and precision,
There the chase ends.
more lie ahead.
More always lie ahead, right?
Is this our end?
It is an interlude.
Will they forget us?
They will try. We will remind them.
That's a
No
good
one
line.
escapes.
Not for long.
It's always so okay. That is so interesting, man. A lot of these voice lines were so cool. Just them talking to each other, guys. In the comments, please let me know about the stories that Lamb would tell Wolf here. I didn't quite understand this one, the one exchange for an oath, a hand to rule, and then the other one about a star crashing down. Let me know about these two stories. I'm not quite sure if they're referencing something specifically or a champion specifically. And like I said earlier, these interactions with the other champions here were so cool. It's just like the way Lamb and Wolf would respond to these champions was such an awesome, I don't know, they were just really well done. I love the voice that is done for both Wolf and Lamb. I don't know who the voice actors are, but they're really good. And like Wolf liking Renekton because he says all will die. Yeah, like that's just nice little details that we get between some of these characters. And then the Mask Mother interests me a lot. So if Mask Mother is their mom, like who is Mask Mother if they're death? Like who creates death? Life? Like death can't exist without life, I feel like. Does Mask Mother represent? No, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. And even this Mask Mother card has Fearsome, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know. Mask Mother interests me. The other Fiend, we only got like one little interaction with them. But yeah, based on the Fandom Wiki, I recall, I think it says like, once Kindred is no longer, like, as soon as nobody remembers Kindred or, you know, nobody's alive anymore, the other Fiend, like, will kill Kindred. I think that's the take on that. And then I thought we would get a little bit more because, you know, I mean, so Kindred does say abomination here. Lamb specifically says abomination to one of the Shadow Isles champions. But I thought we would get, like, a little bit more interaction with these Shadow Isle characters being, you know, they're undead, which kind of, like, probably makes Kindred mad because like why does such an abomination exist? It shouldn't exist because then Kindred has no use for these beings, yet they are undead. They're like alive and dead at the same time. It's, you know, it's confusing to Kindred. So I thought maybe we'd get more voice lines with that, but these were great. These were honestly 10 out of 10 voice lines. I thought these were all really well done. I'm interested to see what we'll get for special interactions because these Legends of Runeterra voice lines were really good. I think these might have been the best Legends of Runeterra voice lines I've listened to. I've listened to some pretty good ones. I can't recall off the top of my head my favorite, but like these might be my favorite ones because they were just so interesting and I was like really entertained by all of the voice lines for Kindred in this one. And it was 6 minutes long, which was also great. All right, let's go ahead and do the special interactions. I'm excited to get into those. All right, everybody, let's get into it. We got Kindred special interactions uploaded by Skin Spotlights. Let's get into it.
We understand your loneliness, but
Oh,
Stay
Amumu.
away.
But stay away. Wait, why? Poor Amumu. Okay, we know nothing about Amumu, but they want Amumu to stay away, apparently. Oh, Bard.
The balloon.
Okay.
we know your name, child. Woven across countless almost lives.
Oh, that totally okay. Because Echo's ability, right? He probably dies in some of those little time jumps or whatever he does. I don't know how his thing actually works. Obviously, I've watched Arcane, but like I don't know how it actually works in League of Legends or Runeterra, and that makes sense. That's pretty cool.
Rushing to meet us again, I see.
Okay, see now I need to know how Gangplank knows
Have we
Kindred.
met before?
We'll have to do a Gangplank reaction at some point.
Sounds good.
The singer mistakes melody for substance.
For substance.
Long have we shadowed your deeds.
Turn and face us now.
Right, as an assassin. Yep.
Trees make a boring chase.
Probably.
Chase the cat.
Chase the cat, Rengar, okay.
Rengar is well versed in the ways of the hunter.
Now he is prey.
Now he's prey.
Come, Scion. Let us end this mockery.
Okay, Sion's interesting because I still don't understand Sion yet because I just haven't reacted to Sion, but we'll get there. But he seems to be interesting when it comes to Kindred.
Sometimes death is a blessing.
Oh, wow, because she's basically saying Urgot's like an abomination, essentially.
There are no wolves like me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I thirst more.
This is when you buy
It
Bloodthirster.
courses with stolen lives.
Huh,
They shall not ignore us so easily.
okay.
Forged in
Blade
a
of the Ruined
land
King.
unwelcome to us.
Oh, is it? Oh, Shadow Isles, right?
For us or them?
By Guardian Angel, okay.
Sharp enough to slice the veil between life and death.
I like that we're getting voice lines for the
A sharper
items.
blade makes for a cleaner death.
Okay.
They shall only hear my voice.
Last Whisper.
Cut them deeper.
Strip away their armor.
Black Cleaver.
Rip it to shreds.
Okay.
Another friend. They
Another friend. Buy Devour. Item removed and voice won't trigger anymore.
will see two of me.
Huh.
Never
okay.
one.
Without the other.
Right. First move. Okay.
Never one.
Without the other.
We got the opposite that time.
Every life.
Ends with us.
Uh-huh.
Tell me again, little lamb, which things are mine to take?
All things, dear wolf.
All things are for Wolf to take.
Is it time?
We will soon awaken from this pale slumber.
This is if you have a short respawn time, okay?
What do all stories have in common, dear wolf?
They end.
They end. I like that interpretation on stories because a good story or a story, I guess, yeah, every story has to have an end, doesn't it?
The weft and weave of fate guides.
The hunt is back on.
The weft and weave.
Are you there, dear wolf?
I am, little lamb.
Are you sad?
I am.
Okay, we heard this
What
one.
does it feel like?
A long hunt with no kill.
It's interesting that Lamb doesn't know what sad feels like. Or maybe Lamb is just asking like how his sadness feels specifically.
Is this what it feels like to end?
I do not know, for this is not our end.
Do others come back?
Those who do wish they hadn't.
That's very ominous.
How old are we, lamb?
Oh,
Older than those whose footsteps are long vanished.
yeah.
Many years.
I remember them all.
Them all. Wow.
Have they forgotten us yet, little lamb?
All still know us, though they try to forget. Soon, we will remind them.
We've heard that one, but it's a very good interaction between Wolf and Lamb.
Tell me a story.
There was once a pale man
Okay,
with dark hair who was very lonely.
Why was it lonely?
All things must meet this man, so they shunned
Okay,
him.
this is the Grim Reaper.
Chase them all.
He took an axe and split himself in two, right down the middle.
So he would always have a friend.
So he would always have a friend.
Man, that's so that's such a interesting, that's essentially Kindred's origin story. Personally, like that's how I feel about it. Like that's how they kind of came to be, really, is that way. And it's interesting that they know a story about it, but they don't know that it's about them.
What folly it is to snatch our marks.
How fast can you run? You stole my chase.
You steal from us.
We steal from you.
This is when your
You
marked camp gets
overstep.
taken. Okay.
That was meant to be ours.
Champ, I'm assuming.
No, that was mine.
We shall remember this theft.
Hmm.
An emboldened thief.
I will eat it.
I love that they're getting mad whenever their mark gets stolen.
No match for me.
None are, dear wolf.
Passive mark from champion.
Such
Okay.
befalls all who bear our mark.
Who's next?
Everyone.
Everyone. Oh, hold on. Okay, that line doesn't seem as savage as it should be, but it totally is if you really think about it. Wolf asking who's next and Lamb saying everyone. That's crazy, but it's also true. Like, it's also true that that's what makes it so savage.
We take our mark.
Only to place it elsewhere.
That was fun.
Oh, okay.
All your life has led to this moment.
That's true.
That was a good chase. We win.
Always, dear wolf. Our
Not
mark
always.
is lifted.
Who's next?
All life is temporary. All things great and small.
Die.
Okay, talking about
The
jungle
chase ends.
More lie ahead, dear wolf.
creatures here.
Fun chase.
Well hunted, dear wolf.
No match for us.
Few are, dear wolf.
Few are, but that means there are some that are a match for them.
Return to nothing. If it draws breath,
It meets us.
That's another good line. If it draws breath, it eventually meets Kindred.
your time has come.
Because there's going to be a time when they're not breathing.
Ready or not.
Ready or not, I
This
love
one's
that.
Ready. There you are.
This is enemy POV for the mark, okay.
The hunt begins. We know your name.
We have always known it.
Mmm.
Fate hunts you today. When you see us,
It's too late.
treasure your final moments.
The masks of the kindred seek you.
Oh, at the same time, there's not too many voice lines like that.
Run. Now.
Eternal twilight calls for you.
Eternal Twilight.
We have your name.
And your scent.
Our mark looms over you. A fine life reaches its conclusion.
This is from the Kindred POV,
I
okay.
will chase it until it's dead. Its heart beats fast now.
It knows.
It knows.
This next one will be easy.
And if not,
More fun.
your next treat, dear wolf.
Treat.
Shall we, dear wolf?
Race you there.
Race you there.
I hope this one has strong legs.
Huh.
Their path is destined to cross ours.
Okay. Oh man, that's it. I want more. These are so good. And you know, in this one, we didn't get too many interactions with the actual champions. They were mostly in the Legends of Runeterra voice lines. But these are still really good because you get to get Lamb and Wolf interacting with each other. And that's honestly, I don't want to say that's more interesting because it is really cool to see them talk to the other champions. But it's like almost as if it's as interesting as those because you are having two entities talk to each other. So it is very, very cool. My favorite line is probably I mean, you guys heard me. It's the one of like, who's next? And then Lamb saying everyone. I think that's such a crazy good line. It makes sense. It's true. everyone except for, you know, those abominations on the Shadow Isles and then those other people that are kind of like immortal beings and stuff. Everybody else though, yep, eventually they're next. So that was a really, really good line from Kindred. I'm a little curious about the Gangplank stuff going on here. Again, we haven't reacted to Gangplank, but we will get to him eventually. We haven't really done anybody from Bilgewater, to be honest. This one about Echo was pretty interesting. I didn't think about it until this was brought up, but my idea of Echo is the whole like time thing. He's able to like see the future just a few seconds ahead. And in some of them, if he does something wrong, he like dies, but then he like rewinds time and knows what to not do, right? And so that's what I'm assuming this, Woven Across Countless Almost Lives. That's what I'm assuming is Kindred is referencing here. I didn't know the thing about Bard and the balloon. I don't truly understand Bard. I know Bard is one of those, I think, celestial beings. Tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But yeah, Bard's one of those weird people that I don't know too much about. The very first one with a Mumu is interesting. I don't know anything about a Mumu. You guys let me know in the comments about that one. I would love to understand this one. I just know a Mumu as the sad mummy. Karthus, the only thing I really know about Karthus is that like Karthus is in the Pentakill video as the main singer, I want to say. So I don't know anything about Karthus, but Karthus was one of the people that was mentioned in the biography as having a relationship with Kindred in some way. So Karthus, I think, is like an undead being of some sort, right? Scion also being one of those interesting characters where it's like, I don't really know exactly. Scion was like dead and then brought back to life or something with like magic of some sort. We've gotten lots of mentions with Scion with like our Noxus or with our Swain reaction and like our LeBlanc reaction and Vladimir, I think maybe Scion was mentioned as well. So yeah, I don't truly know what's going on there with Scion. You guys let me know. This one was pretty easy to recognize. Obviously, Warwick is a werewolf or a wolf, whatever. And, you know, obviously wolf here is like, no wolves are like me, right? I don't really need you guys to go into detail about the items for the voice lines that were regarding the items that you would buy from the shop. But they were still kind of interesting just to see them interact about buying these items. I feel like not every champion has these kind of voice reactions to items, so that was cool to see. All right, guys, again, Kindred is one of the most interesting champions, in my opinion, in League of Legends. You can say I'm wrong. I mean, there are plenty. I mean, almost all the characters in League of Legends, to me, are pretty interesting, regardless of who they are. But Kindred is super unique in the way it represents death in this world, right? Having the lamb and the wolf is such an interesting concept to me. I wonder where Riot, they probably referenced something from like old folklore or mythology or something. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't mentioned in the wiki from as far as I could see. Lamb and wolf representing death or the Grim Reaper or some sort of pale man kind of thing. Like that whole thing, whoever decided to make Kindred this way, it was very, very unique and very, very cool. I think they are a very interesting champion. Now, it's, you know, they're not going to be like a champion to have like a big impact on the actual world of Runeterra in a sense. They're just kind of like the thing that's always there and always going to be around as long as people can die. So they're not going to be like a Swain who runs Noxus and like is actually going to have an impact on the world of Runeterra, but they do in a sense have some sort of impact in the way people move on to the next world or, you know, and death in general. They're just always going to be there. You know, the Grim Reaper is always going to be there. So they are a very interesting champion. And I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on Kindred as a whole. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of Kindred's voice lines. Let me know what you think of Kindred's skins. All of that nonsense, let me know in the comments below, please. And guys, as the recording of this video, we are very, very close to 2,000 subscribers, so please subscribe if you don't already. I'd really, really appreciate it. We do a ton of League of Legends reactions, and we're going to continue to react to more League of Legends champions. Every Friday, I'm going to try to upload a video on a new character. So yeah, leave a like on the video as well. I'd appreciate it. It does help the YouTube algorithm. It helps other people see the video, and we want more people to see the video. All right, guys, that's going to be it for Kindred. Let me know in the comments also who I should react to just in the future. I've been getting all your guys' input, and I've been marking them down, and we're going to keep doing the ones that you guys tell me you want me to do. So just make sure I know what champion you want me to react to next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.